When Steve Jobs famously introduced the very first iPhone, he opened the presentation by saying that he will introduce 3 products. In much the same way, I would argue that the GMC Hummer EV Pickup is essentially the iPhone of the car world. The Hummer EV Pickup can do almost anything. It also happens to be electric, and it's also loaded to the gills with technology. I'm Alex Luft. You're watching the MOTROLIX channel. Let's dive right in.
MOTROLIX.
Let's talk about the exterior design. Now, in my opinion, the Hummer EV Pickup is a very good-looking vehicle. The design is bold, tough, rugged, and imposing, and it gets a lot of attention. Let me tell you, I've driven all kinds of vehicles in my life, from Corvettes to Ferraris to Mustangs to Porsches. I have never received as much attention in any of those vehicles as I have in this vehicle right here. Now, that could partially be because, well, this is a brand new vehicle. There's only a handful of these on the roads nowadays. So people are maybe looking at and asking about and interested in the latest thing, which this absolutely is. So you could definitely make that argument. But then you have to kind of dig deeper. Why is it that people are ultimately looking at one of these? Do they actually know that there's a new Hummer on the market? I would argue that they don't. In fact, I think that the reason that this vehicle gets as much attention as it has gotten me over the past week that I've been driving it is simply because it looks astounding. Let's take a closer look at the design. Now, this particular model, it is painted in the interstellar white color. It essentially is the same as the Summit white paint that is offered on other GM products, from Chevys to GMCs to other vehicles. And with the black accents that you see throughout the vehicle, whether it's on the body or the wheels, this white paint looks absolutely stunning. Just take a look at the lighting here. This, to me, looks really good, and it really makes the whole vehicle pop, in my opinion. So you have this really nice front light bar spanning the entire width of the vehicle. So not only is the Hummer EV Pickup wide already, but that width is now even further accentuated by this horizontal light bar. So it spans the width of the front fascia, and you do have, instead of the grille that were present on the last generation, the last Hummers, right, the internal combustion engine Hummers, you now have this nice grille-like treatment that spells out the Hummer name and, of course, the EV badge right here. There's also this little element here. It's kind of an H, and this is an element that repeats itself both outside as well as inside of the cabin. I also am a big fan of the way that designers integrated the side marker lamp. It comes out, protrudes forward from this cluster itself, and in my opinion, it just looks really good. The Hummer EV Pickup also has a dual tier lighting configuration. So this here, these are not actually the headlights. This is just a simple light bar that is really a kind of a daytime running lamp or an accent light, if you will. The actual headlamps are located right here within the lower end of the front fascia. As you can tell, there are no fog lamps, and that is because those headlamps are now located down here, and they're so much closer to the road that it really negates the need for any kind of fog lamps. Combine that with the fact that these are LEDs and they're very bright and very powerful, you really don't need fog lamps. And then the rest of the front fascia, take a look at this. Again, the nice contrast between the body white paint and these black accents throughout the body. You can see these tow hooks, and they are real tow hooks. Take a look at these things. These are not just for show. They are here for function, but they also happen to look really good as well. It all comes back to that rugged, rough, really kind of tough persona that the Hummer EV has from a styling standpoint. Now, this being a GMC, there is a small GMC logo here to signify that it is a small part of the Hummer and that this still is a Hummer at the end of the day. And then other elements within the front fascia itself, This piece here, I do like the way this insert's integrated. In case you need to mount a front license plate, you can do so here as well. And then below that, there's the skid plates. There's a whole jubilee, in fact, of skid plates and other protection and body armor that is meant to protect the vehicle from the rough elements when you're actually off-roading. And I would be very much remiss if I didn't mention the roof-mounted marker lights. Those 3 amber lights up there, they make this thing look like an absolute beast. And they're not just for show either. In fact, those 3 amber marker lamps are there because there is a federal motor vehicle safety standard requirement from NHTSA, from the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, that requires any vehicle that is over 80 inches in width to have those 3 lights at the top of the roof. Given that the Hummer EV pickup is most certainly wider than 80 inches, it has them. And the fact that they look good, well, that is just a byproduct of their necessity. I'm also a big fan of the way that this front bumper has been executed and designed in general. It's tough, it's rugged, it's muscular, but more than that, take a look. It's a very high clearance bumper right here. So what that does is not only does it create the necessary approach and departure angles that are needed for off-roading, not only does that bumper accomplish that, but the byproduct of that is that you have this nice exposed tire right here at the front. And this just creates a very different personality for the vehicle altogether. This now makes the Hummer EV pickup look like it means business. And not only does it look like it means business, but it actually does mean business altogether. And take a look at the way that designers integrated the front parking sensors here. So you can see that there is a parking sensor there, right there, very well and neatly integrated into the front bumper cover here. You can also see that there's another one right there, also well integrated into the actual front bumper. And then if you keep going, you'll find another one right there, and then the same thing repeats on the other side. 1, 2, and then this one on this side. Very well done as far as integrating the necessary parking sensor hardware into this front fascia. Let's take a look at this hood, and I call it a hood even though beneath this is a front trunk, otherwise known as a frunk. But take a look at the way it's styled. You have these very bold, muscular, nacelle-like elements right here. I don't know if you can see them. There they are right there. And then you have a nice dip until that kind of line repeats itself again right there. And then right in the middle, you do have this kind of power dome-like feature right there. It is completely and purely for show, but it certainly looks very good. Another thing that you might notice are these elements right here. They also contribute to the tough and bold and very kind of rugged design theme of the Hummer EV pickup. And then there's also 3 wipers. 1, 2, and 3 right there. This windshield, it's so upright but so wide that 2 wipers simply would not do. You really needed 3 to cover the surface area of this windshield. And then take a look at these wheel wells right here. I like the shape of the wheel well itself and the way that it's executed in general. I really like this kind of kick-up element right here. That's very unique. I'm a big fan of that. Take a look at the way that this wheel and tire combination fits into the wheel wells. Looks really good. Now, keep in mind that this vehicle, the way it is sitting right now, it is in the lowest possible position as far as vertical travel is concerned. So it's in the ingress and egress position, which allows passengers and the driver to easily enter and exit the vehicle. It has 3 other modes beyond that enable the suspension to actually raise the body of the Hummer EV pickup. Okay, so that's the wheel wells and the wheels and the tires. Let's take a look at the shape. Let's talk about the shape. It looks so good, in my opinion. Just take a look at this thing. Very upright windshield, almost upright, like it's almost at a 90-degree angle, the windshield. It looks great. Then you have a flat roof before the C-pillar tapers down into that sail panel there. This shape overall to me, and then you have obviously the bed there, but this overall shape looks so good that I really can't say enough good things about it. This thing looks like $1,000,000, and I would buy this car just on design alone. I also like the way that the greenhouse is treated. So you have a black A pillar, you have black B pillars. All of these are gloss black, piano black, if you will. And then part of the C pillar there is black as well. And this works really well with these elements that I mentioned earlier, the treatment here and here. All of this flows together very nicely in conjunction with the black DLO treatment right here. This is that daylight opening treatment. It looks really good. And of course, the mirrors that also have some black accents. So black accent here, there, and on the actual mounting arm as well. The mirrors themselves, these things look really good as well. These were not ripped off of, say, a Sierra or a Silverado or some other GM vehicle. No. These were developed and designed specifically for the GMC Hummer EVs. And just look at them. They're huge, first and foremost. All the details in the design look very impressive to me. The same thing goes for the mounting arm. Look at the size and just the overall width and girth of this thing. It looks absolutely great. And then the cameras. So there's a camera mounted in here. There's a little light mounted in there. This one projects the Hummer EV logo to the ground. Whenever it's dark, you're able to see that. And the cameras, well, these are part of the surround vision system that the Hummer EV offers. To finish up with the greenhouse, let me show you this little detail. You have the US flag right here integrated into the actual C-pillar panel here. That's great. And from there, it goes into body color, except for, of course, the trim that goes around the wheel well and then the rear bumper. Over here between the wheels, you will see a few interesting things taking place. So there is a bit of a trick that designers are doing here with the bottom portion of the Hummer EV Pickup. As you can see, that bottom portion, it's not all that thin. It actually extends, roughly from this area all the way down. It's several inches all the way down, essentially to where it ends, which is right there. And this part is not done by accident. In fact, it is very much a purposeful design decision to do it this way. And that's because this part of the Hummer EV Pickup houses the battery. But to break up the design and to not make it look so monotonous, what designers have done is they've integrated a step. So this is a nice looking step. I think it fits with the personality of the Hummer EV Pickup, and it also happens to be very functional as well. These fenders, I am also a huge fan of these fenders. They protrude in just the right places. Here's the front one, just well styled. The surface detailing on this vehicle is second to none. Just take a look at this. It's wide, and then it tapers in right here. Looks really good. There's also this HEV badge right there, and obviously the H stands for Hummer, and the Hummer is right there. It's written right within the actual H, and obviously EV for electric vehicle. And that brings me to the rear fender. Take a look at this bad boy right here. Just like the front fender over here, this fender also protrudes quite a bit right there, and it also has a nice hip to it right here as well. So it really extends outward and from here outward as well before tapering right before the tail light right here. There's that wheel well trim right there. And so that brings me to the rear end. Let's start above and we'll make our way down to the lower end of the truck. So at the very top, we see the piano black treatment of the roof there. Looks very good, works well in conjunction with the rest of the greenhouse itself. And you have this nice spoiler over here. That looks great, and it's functional because it aids in aerodynamics. And then you have those three lights at the top end of the roof there. So not only do those lights look cool, but they also satisfy the federal motor vehicle safety standards that require vehicles that are 80 inches wide or wider to have the roof mounted marker lights. But in the case of the Hummer EV, they simply look incredible. Just look at that. You have the roof-mounted communications fin. That takes care of the 4G LTE plus the Sirius and XM connections. And then you have a very vertical but short, this is a kind of a stubby rear glass. It is wide, however, so that's nice. You have these sail panels here that come down into the actual box. And here we are at the rear. Now this truck is equipped with the retractable hard power tonneau cover. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then there is also the taillights and the tailgate and the bumper. So let's go through that. Take a look at these taillights first and foremost. These taillights, they have some black trim here, so it matches up well with the piano black elements at the front, as well as the piano black elements around the greenhouse. It works well in conjunction with this rear bumper and the black elements that line the actual box. But take a look at this. It has a nice kind of hourglass shape right there. Very nice graphic detail within the actual tail lamp itself. And if you look closely at the side, you'll see that there's actually a Hummer logo in there as well. You also have the red marker lamp, the red side marker lamp right there. From there, well, we have the tailgate. This is the multi-pro tailgate, so this is a multi-position, 6-position tailgate. It opens up in all kinds of ways, so you can open it like a regular tailgate, like so. We have cones back there, and you could also open it like so as well. And then there's secondary load stops, like so. You could do that. Or you could drop the entire tailgate, and then from here, drop the inner tailgate, drop this over here. You have an integrated kicker speaker, and you can connect to the speaker via Bluetooth, via USB, or via the aux input jack right here. This speaker is waterproof, and it works quite well. From here, you have the Hummer EV badging. Again, just like at the front, the Hummer EV badge takes center stage, while the GMC badge is a small badge down here, just to signify that this is a Hummer. It's a GMC Hummer, right? That's really the point of the badges here. From there, you have a piano black bumper. You can see that over here. We got it nice and dirty for you because that's the way we roll. You have the hitch there and the tow hooks. Here they are. Again, not just for show, they are very much functional on the Hummer EV pickup. Just like in the front, the sensors at the rear bumper are also very well integrated into the bumper itself. You do have one here, another there, and another there. If you're not looking closely, you will never notice them, but they are there and they're very well integrated in my opinion. Another piece worth mentioning here at the rear is the chimsel. So this is the center high mounted stop lamp. It's integrated into the top end of the tailgate itself. An interesting place for the chimsel for a truck. Typically they're located up there, but since the 3 marker lights are located at the back of the cab in the Hummer EV pickup, they had to put the actual chimsel here. So that's the chimsel. This is actually lit up in a very nice, similar kind of LED, red LED light as the tail lamps. And then the license plate lighting, those are done via these 2 LED lamps on either side of the license plate here. And that, I think, brings me to the power retractable hard tonneau cover right here. So let's take a look at that. I have 2 buttons right here that I can use to control it. I can press it once and it will retract the entire cover, revealing the bed. And there is the bed. It's a 60-inch, so 5-foot long bed with the receptacle for the, and the entire mechanism really for the tonneau cover. It is decreased a bit at the top end of the bed itself, but overall it's your standard bed. It has all the tie downs, and it also has a household style 110 volt outlet right here. Let me show you that. There that is. You can enable this outlet from the actual cabin. And then to assist in getting into the bed itself, there is a handle. It works in conjunction with this secondary tailgate. So if I drop this tailgate right here and I open the step, and then I can extend the handle like so, and very easily I can get into the actual bed. From here, I can drop this handle down, or I can start closing the actual tonneau cover as well. So if I drop this down, okay, I close this down like so. I can drop this handle over here like so, and then the power tonneau cover comes right back. There it is. This is not an inexpensive option, but man, is it good. In my opinion, this is one of the best inventions for a pickup truck bed. And that, I think, wraps up the rear end. There are a couple of more things I'd like to show you about the truck. First is the charging port. It is located over here at the rear. So this is a departure from the norm, if you will, where typically EVs have a charging port at the front quarter panel or in the vicinity of the front quarter panel. The Hummer EV Pickup, as well as the SUV, actually, both of them have their charging doors as well as the charging port here at the rear. This might take some time to get used to, just because, well, it's at the rear. So today, for instance, I was charging at an Electrify America station, and I had to back into a spot in order for the charge cord to reach that spot right there. And so that is the design story of the GMC Hummer EV Pickup. In my opinion, this vehicle looks incredible. It looks bold, it looks rugged, and it looks just downright attractive. To me, this looks better than anything that could be considered in its class. So you want to talk about a Rivian R1T, this eats the Rivian R1T's lunch, hands down. You want to talk about maybe internal combustion powered trucks, super trucks like the Ram TRX or the Ford F-150 Raptor R. To me, this looks even better still.
MOTROLIX.